Or yeah, like Ricky would be like, I don't think he would ever be able to make the Elite 15. That like
not fast, not fast enough.
I mean, these guys are just so big. Like Ricky looks like a normal dude out on CrossFit. He almost looks like kind of smaller than other athletes compared to some. But when he was on the Hyrox course, he was just huge. It's like this guy is a bear out there. Yeah, I mean the dudes are just way too. And like they said like Fikowski. It's like and these are like and these separating the fans from the athletes. I'm almost positive that Fikowski be like, "There's no way I could win this."
Are you ready for me to be super fired up?
I'm interested.
You don't have to be nearly as fired up as me. I just need you to back me up. Like we're about to go. Like we're about to. We'll see.
That wasn't the agreement. You say, "Hey, I want to record. I'm fired up." I'm like, I'm not as fired up as you. So if you're looking for a hype guy, that ain't me.
I'm the hype guy. But if I said to you, if you and I are in a bar, and I go, these guys are gonna throw down. Do you got my back? You wouldn't say, I don't know, maybe. You'd be like, yes, no matter what it was.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
I don't think that that's the scenario we're in.
You judge when we're done. I just said I'm ready to go to war, and I just need you on my team. And you said, yes, I will have the facts ready for you.
I said I'll have the facts. I did not know.
Okay, well then maybe this will go a different way, or maybe it'll actually be great because both sides will be presented in a fair way. But seriously, if we're in Philly, right?
Someone's gonna try to fight you.
Okay. And we're on, is it Broad Street?
There is Broad Street. Not a lot of bars. There's Sansom Street.
Where's the big area? Where's the big bar area where all the dumb people are?
It could be anywhere.
Name a scene. Name a street.
And yeah, Philly, anywhere there's a bar. That's what you're going to get.
And I said, hey, just be ready. And I looked at you, you would be like, fuck yes. I know you would be. That's why you're my friend. Right? I can't say that about every friend I have, but you'd be one of those people.
Well, because I understand the dynamic in the scenario you're laying out. I'm like, yeah, okay, Matt's probably going to say something and someone's going to not enjoy it. He's going to be joking. People aren't going to think it's funny, and that's going to be a problem.
I'm just laying anyway. All right. But before I talk about the CrossFit Hyrox thing, I have to say, I was just listening to you, Jack, and Bracken, and I've talked to you about how much I appreciate you on that show. You're a great mix. Every time I listen, I go, I wish I could have a show with 1, 2, or 3 of these guys on a weekly basis. They do great stuff.
Thank you.
But the stuff you say is so funny that, you know how sometimes they'll find like an old song and they'll go, let's just highlight the drums, or let's just highlight this one vocal track. And people are like, oh, wow, I never heard that before. Or wow, it's really interesting to focus on that. Your asides, which sometimes get lost because just you keep the show rolling because you're the host, and so you don't stop to make the joke, you just roll with it. So I'm just gonna quote.
I don't know where this is going.
We're talking about live coverage, and Bracken hates Flow Track, and and you're like, that's like some Spartan shit. Like, who's in second place right now at World Championship right now? Oh, I blew it already. Who's in second place at our World Championship right now? Don't know. Couldn't tell you. But this is a great event.
Oh, you like that one? See, that's for the real ones. Though they know.
What I'm saying? But like that's so right on. And then you guys didn't mention it. You just moved on. But if we just isolate the rich track from the broadcast.
Well, I appreciate that. You're gassing me up now. Now I got your back, dude.
Who's in second place in the World Championship right now? I have no idea. But this is an amazing event.
But that's love this format. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know who you might be the audience for that. I don't know how many other people are going to laugh at that one, but
people love your show.
That's for you.
You're the most listened to, but second most favorite. I think that's what we've learned from our end of the year numbers and awards, right? That's what we learned. Most listened to, second most favorite. Fine. Third behind BeastNet. Okay, so let's get to it. Okay. He just gave me the get out of here sign like an old man.
I was gonna keep it going. I was like, nah, let's keep that. That's gone. Let's go.
Okay. So I was listening to Talking Elite Fitness. It's Sean Woodland and the other CrossFit guy and Lauren.
Tommy Marquez
and
Lauren Khalil.
Sorry, Tommy. So people that have been in the space a long time. Sean, to me, is the voice of CrossFit. He is Joe Buck. He is Al Michaels. I hear that
Absolutely.
voice. I know I'm watching. He did come on my show once. He was very kind. I liked him a lot. Um, and these guys, I see the word Hyrox in their thing, and I'm like, well, I got to listen to that. And uh, I knew they were going to talk about Mal and Kristi, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm really glad we're getting eyeballs. But I'm extremely protective of what I'm going to call our side of the world, much like I was or am with Spartan Race. Right
Mm-hmm.
when people come over and it's like, oh, this marathoner is going to crush it, or the ridiculous stuff that Jack used to say. And he's like, well, they could do this. And I'm like, that doesn't mean anything, Jack. I think he finally
Right.
came off that. I think he finally came off this person's got lightning fast 10K on a treadmill speed. So this is how it translates.
Right.
So he's basically had this idea based on how Kristi did that these guys are just going to roll in and scoop up the cash. And I was like, hang on, just hang on. Because you and I know there's a big difference in being really, really good at a thing and it not necessarily translating. And you
Mm.
guys actually covered it a little bit in your podcast, but I just kind of quickly want to set the table. So partly is they didn't have all the information, which again, I understand. They're only
Right.
tangentially paying attention. They said she won and she's going to the world championships. She qualified, if you're listening to this and you don't know, for age group world championships. She did not
Correct.
qualify because this was not a race that you could qualify in. You could only
Right.
qualify in something called the majors, which you get to by having a good time, or something called the last chance qualifier, which is about to happen. So I just want to kind of set the table here. Lauren's time compares to what currently for the Elite 15? Sorry, Kristi's time.
Christie's.
Kristi's time compares what currently to the Elite 15?
Chrissy's time this year for her first attempt was 64:37, would be 23rd right now in the like major championship qualifiers, which at most races would probably get her into the Elite 15. Like her opening time is rock solid, and she would have a chance to potentially race her way into the World Championships, but did not do that with this time. You are correct.
And how many minutes is she off the Lauren Meg pace?
Well, I mean, Lauren's PR, and these are the best athletes in the world.
Right. Well, I'm just saying, what do they usually put down?
They've been at 60 minutes.
Okay,
right?
so
Like at or below 60 minutes for basically every major has been won around 60 minutes.
but that's what I'm trying to dispel. You said, oh, well, you're picking the two best in the world at it. Yes, I am. And that's the point. That's why
Right.
CrossFitters can't just show up and make some extra cash, air quotes, because
Right.
there's a difference. And then
100%.
and then he said Sam Briggs, and Sam Briggs did not do that great, if I recall.
No, Sam ran in the 2020 like Elite 12 situation that they had. Like it was kind of like an invite. And she ran 71, almost 72 minutes. So 1:11:56 and was last.
And that was 3 years ago, and everybody was a little bit slower, but we wouldn't imagine her to come in and quote unquote clean up.
And they were on the assault treadmill, like for sure. But like Lauren Weeks, I think I didn't catch her time on that one, but she won that race, and Sam Briggs wasn't a factor in that race for sure.
Right. So, and just like we say, like Kristi has a great half time and a great full marathon time. And we know that that is, if we know you do CrossFit, that's a factor and that's pretty good. But you still have to actually put it all together. And do I think she'll get better if she continues at it? Absolutely. But she's not coming in to swoop up all our cash anytime soon.
No, that's certainly not the case, right?
That's
And
the fight. That's the fight I want you in with me. That's all.
I got you, because that is a little bit disrespectful to the athletes who currently exist in this space, right? Like CrossFit believes that they are superior to Hyrox. It just is clear that they look at us kind of like, yeah, but like the real athletes, when they come in, they will swoop in and take all the cash. And that is just not the case. Like Kristi O'Connell, she could win some money if she put in a lot of time, work, and effort into this, but she just can't show up to a major event. Like she will have more success coming our direction than our athletes would go going her direction, and I will give CrossFit that. But there's no way that she can just like beat Lauren Weeks, beat Meg Jacoby, right?
Well, and
Beat
that's the
Linda
fight.
Meyer.
That's the fight in the bar I want to have with you. So
I'm with it. Let's
okay,
go.
great. Okay, great. Because that's the part that was like, oh, well, these guys will just show up. And I mean, just, hey, when they're not doing CrossFit, they can just swoop in and grab some of the extra money laying around. Here's what's interesting. And what we'll really see is people don't dominate something and then choose not to do it. Right. So let's just pick this one. I know it might be crazy, but Lance Armstrong, right? When he showed up and got spanked, right? And it's like, oh,
In
in
what?
Spartan, in Spartan.
Oh, when did he do his Spartan?
So the famous story is he knows Yancey. Yancey used to work on his plane. Yancey has something to do with planes. And
How would Yancey speak to him about a plane part?
Yancey is in, Yancey fixes engines or is in plane maintenance or
Would he
something.
be like, hey man, I was looking for a.
Oh, you were. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm trying to be conscious of your time, so I'm like trying to get to the.
I know, I'm teeing you up.
So the story was, he knows Lance. He's trying to get him to come out, and he says to Lance, "Would you come out and do this thing?" And he said, "Yeah." And he said, "Cool. Don't show up at Elite. Just show up. See how you do." The story from Yancey is Coble grabs him, pulls him in the Elite Heat, and he does the Elite Heat, fails 3 things, comes in 30th, whatever it was, really bad. I text Lance Armstrong.
What?
Sorry, I tweet Lance Armstrong.
Oh, I was like, how did that happen?
I said, I could, if I was more prepared, I'd find it, but I said something like, "Are you serious about this?" And he said something like, "As serious as anything I try to win." Oh, Matt Novakovic was training with him at the time. Matt Novakovic was in the pro team. So, and he did a couple of, you saw him do some workouts, but guess what? It's really hard to go from the best cyclist in the world to the best Spartan athlete in the world. Totally. So if you could, you would. He would have kept on that cycle because there was money in it at the time, there was attention at the time. So same thing, these guys saying like, oh, well, they would do it if they could. And it's like, for those that are in the game already, of course not. Like top 3, top 5, even top 10 of people at the games, keep going to the games. But if you're not that and you could be first, so I don't think Kristi's going to keep doing it unless she can win. That's my thought.
Yeah. And this was something that we did talk about on Race Brain about like so like the Lance Armstrong example, right? Like if he put in the dedication and time that he put in towards cycling, toward Spartan, like, yeah, he probably could win.
So why didn't he then is the question.
Because he had already done that for a specific area, and it takes a lot to be the best at something.
And by the way, this is way before he like podcasting, and now he has a whole content thing. So this is way before all that. That stuff didn't exist. It was either be banned and be hated by everybody or try to do our sport, which by the way is kind of funny considering he couldn't, according to him, he couldn't even do a local 10K. And we're like, come on, we don't test anybody.
Doesn't matter to us. But that's the question with like a Kristi Aramo, right? To be a games level athlete, it takes so much work, so much time to get there. And I'm guessing she knows the dedication that it would take. And maybe she could get into the top 5 at Hyrox off of like 90% of what she had done. But to go all the way in again, then it's like, why would you switch out of the sport that you were already in? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And we're in these interesting times because your own brand exists. And I think Jack said she's already going to make more money just by launching a Hyrox program and whatever sponsor she gets from that. So she doesn't.
And that's why I'm guessing she's doing it.
And she doesn't need Hyrox. But this idea that I just don't want any CrossFitter or CrossFit fan to listen is like, oh no, well, of course they could come in and dominate. They just don't want to. And it's like, really fucking hard. And trust me, I understand what it takes to get to the games. I understand that even 7th or 8th or 30th at the game,
even to make it to the games,
puts you in the
there.
the 1 and the 1 on the 1 on the 1 of the 1%.
Yeah,
I get all
absolutely.
that. I get all that. And certainly the higher you move, right? She finished as high as 8th once, right? The higher you move, obviously, the better you like. I get that. I get she's a a specimen. However, don't just think you're going to show up because you can run real far and real fast and think you're going to. What did Ricky get, by the way? What was Ricky's podcast?
His time was 62 and change. And like, yeah, like once he did that, I heard a couple of podcasts like, oh yeah, that puts him into Elite 15. Like it doesn't. Like 62 is a good time, but that would be comparable to I would probably even make that comparison that's like a semifinals athlete in CrossFit. Someone who's definitely not going to make the games, but who's like fairly competitive and would be better than most athletes in a sport. I'd probably put Ricky in that category where Kristi is more. She came in and did and had more success instantly, and I think could have more success. Or yeah, like Ricky would be like, I don't think he would ever be able to make the Elite 15.
Not fast enough.
I mean, these guys are just so big. Like Ricky looks like a normal dude out on CrossFit. He almost looks like kind of smaller than other athletes compared to some. But when he was on the Hyrox course, he was just huge. It's like this guy is a bear out there. Yeah, I mean the dudes are just way too. And they said like Fikowski. It's like, and these are like, and these separating the fans from the athletes. I'm almost positive that Fikowski be like, there's no way I could win this, right? And Kristi would probably say the same thing. It's like, yeah, if I put it in, like I think I could be competitive, but I respect what these athletes are doing.
But these guys aren't fans. These guys aren't just fans, though. They're covering the sport. They're supposed to be, somewhat be able to say
they're not covering our sport, though.
Right, but just like I wouldn't say Lauren Weeks and Meg are going to be the best pickleball players because they've got good agility and timing, and you know what I mean. I just wouldn't. I know it's completely.
Wait till the Hyrox athletes get into pickleball, then it's fucking over.
Pickleball, paddleball. I can't even tell the difference anymore.
Swooping in, I'm taking that cake.
It was the swooping in that upset me. It was the swooping in that really upset me. So, but then you said
they could, yes.
But then you, but yeah, and then when he said Fikowski, I was like, well, come on now. So, but the other really interesting thing you said was, well, who would do well? And you said, well, it's probably the athletes that wouldn't get to the games because they don't have to be so massive, because they don't have to be
skilled.
Right. And you said, well, guess what? Some of them are already here. Norman, Michaela, Lauren Weeks, right? Like solid CrossFit athletes. So if we're talking about the men, right, it's not going to be one of the men who makes the games. It's going to be somebody that's like a pretty good CrossFitter that comes over and does really well. How about Colin Stiefer?
Someone like Colin, right? And like who are guys who are just like on the fringe of making semis almost, right? Even someone like Isaiah now, he's huge. He's so jacked.
Too big.
He's so jacked. So it would be someone who hasn't even made it to any level of success, I think, on the men's side, coming from CrossFit, that like maybe had a track and field background or something, or was or again, soccer players, footballers. Those are the athletes who I think will translate pretty well, who may have done CrossFit for a little bit, can make the quarters, do all the stuff, but are not strong enough to make the semis. Those are the athletes who I would, as a competitor, I would look at and be like, okay, that person might have, like, they might be a problem, like a Colin Stiefer.
And I would love to see Kristi come back, see what she learns, see what she gets better at, and against better women, because the field wasn't that deep, right? Wasn't the best of the best weren't there.
Got our girl Laura Rentala out there crushing.
Listen, PR. I love these people. Time. Right, I love.
But it was the regional race. It was a
local race, regional race.
It was a local race,
and her being pushed by better competition would be better.
It would be interesting. It would be interesting.
Like maybe she'd be like, "Oh shit, I better move here." So
and maybe that would be better for her time. Maybe that would be worse, right? Is she going to do Anaheim? Do we have any idea of what her plans are?
She has not answered my last couple. I had written her prior and said, "Can we talk after?" And she said yes. And then I reached out after and said, "Can we talk?" And
she said no.
Well, she hasn't gotten back to me, and I give everybody a lot of grace. I am not afraid to reach out again and say, Hey, still me. Question mark. Dot.
That's why you are where you are.
Did you see my last message?
Persistence and just not offended. We can still do this. We
Yeah,
can
I'm
still
not.
hang.
Nothing's personal. Rich Ryan.
Business. Yeah, but look, like her splits are good, like
Oh
right.
yeah,
Like
we were gonna talk. We were gonna talk about her splits.
so, it seemed like she was conservative on ski erg. She pushed her sled probably a little too hard. We saw a bit of a dip in her run, but her run came right back after a sled pull and a pretty good sled pull time.
That
Like
impressed
her,
Bracken to no end. Bracken was so impressed by that.
and it is fairly impressive to kind of get whacked and then to be able to come back. A lot of times people get whacked on the sleds and then it's just over. But that's a testament to her fitness as well. She's strong and she has a big aerobic engine. She can do all this stuff. But for the most part, yeah, I mean these splits are what an elite athlete in Hyrox would put out. You know, like so I think that she would be right in the mix. And like her, like we mentioned on race band, like her wall balls. Most of the women doing wall balls right now are doing it like 40 seconds faster, and I think that she would be able to do that like pretty easily.
And yeah, and again, if someone was next to her and the crowd was hyped,
Yes.
different story.
Yeah, but overall it's pretty good.
Nah, listen,
She ain't swooping in.
that's all I need. That's all I need.
She ain't swooping in, taking nobody's money. Okay. But she it was pretty good.
Okay, good. Who's in second right now? I have no idea who's in second place at a world championship, but this event is amazing.
Isn't it glorious out here? The but yes, I actually do listen to Talking Elite Fitness, and they've been good. They've been pretty good to Hyrox. They had Christian on. They do mention it. They talked about Miriam a couple times.
Right.
Mentioned that she's Hyrox. They're very positive too.
I know. Listen. I told you, I'm a huge Sean Woodland fan. Huge.
Big fan.
I don't know the other two, but I know Sean. And I mean,
Lauren
I know who
Khalil.
they are. I know who they are. I've seen them on my screen, but I'm saying
Yeah.
I actually talked to Sean and love what he does. And
he's great.
I
he
heard
says all the names well.
Oh, dude, he's
He
like I said,
crushes the names.
He's the voice. Like I think I have a pretty good radio voice, right? But I mean, come on, he's amazing.
He's it. He's really good. But yeah, the swooping. I mean, like other like I actually had another one of the podcasts on, and they were just like disrespectful about like Hyrox, and I think like in jest, but still like disrespectful as shit.
Right.
But so
they can poke fun of DEKA, but not Hyrox. DEKA's dumb. We all know that.
They don't even know what DEKA is.
I know.
It's probably better. And that's probably better. Let's
at this point, right?
They don't.
I'm kidding.
By the way,
I'm kidding. By the way,
about the DEKA is dumb. DEKA, you're a convert.
I own Rams. I saw the Ram ball, and I was like,
"Are you gonna get one of those?"
Of course I am. I'm 100% Ram. What are you? What do you work out with?
I have
everything.
Lots of stuff, dude. Endless amounts of stuff.
You got a rec bag?
No, I don't have a rec bag. I have two
brute force
ones.
Concept 2.
I have 2 Concept 2 machines, a ski and row.
Salt.
I have a Rogue Echo. A Rogue Echo. So I have that. A Salt treadmill. I have. I got all this stuff, man. What's new that I've got? I got a bike trainer. Those are nice because they fold up. I need a bike though. I don't have a bike. I got the trainer.
You know what I noticed? 2 of your really good friends are over in Europe right now.
I know.
It seems like oh, well, we just left our buddy back in Colorado. What's up with that? What's up with that?
Ooh wee. Kent just left me. He left me totally out of college. We moved to the East Coast, man. He's gone. He's out.
Maybe, maybe him and Meg are making a move. This could be like a Sopranos thing. They might be rounding you.
That would and then what would they do then without me?
I'm just saying.
They know this. They know the deal. They know the deal. I just talked to him. It was lovely, refreshing. It seems beautiful over there in Cyprus. I didn't even know that was a thing. Like that was a place.
Right where Cypress Hill is from.
What's your favorite Cypress Hill song? Can you name 2 songs
from Cypress Hill?
Yeah,
hits from the bong.
Good. The other one should be.
Guess what? We get really high. Insane in the membrane.
There we go.
Every one of their songs is "Guess What? We Get High." That's everything.
They got a lane. They're sticking it. I
saw them in Atlanta at, wait for it, the Pot Fest in like I want to say 92 or 95.
Were you
It
a
was
pot user as well?
uh this is me between ages 18 and like until I got sober. Oh no, 18 to 23, let's say, because then I moved and I was more of a drinker. But between 18 and 23, I'd be with my friends and I'm like, you guys are fucking losers. You smoke pot every single day. Pass that over here. But like I wasn't the loser, they were, because I never bought it. Like they were like, you guys are fucking losers.
Y'all smoking weed again?
Like
Fuck.
seriously, but we hung out every single day.
So you had to get down with some of it a little bit. That's the
But
problem when you're a kid. Just everything's abuse,
yeah,
abusing the.
but
Like, you can,
some people like they go, okay, I'm gonna get on with my life now. I did not.
when you did.
I did everything to excess, and then I had to get
Oh,
sober because
right. Some people will have drinks, then they'll like be fine and
right,
exist as a person.
right.
Nah, I
Like
got you.
people
I
now,
got you.
they like wine with dinner. They hit the vape once in a while, whatever. They take shit to go asleep in the plane. I can't do
Just like
any
an
of that.
adult.
I just have to
Yeah,
face life
that's
on
tough.
life's terms.
That's tough, dude.
It's really tough.
That's tough. You
I
should
feel
try.
all my emotions.
Stop it. It's too much. That's too much emotions. Gonna numb them things out a little bit. Why do you think CrossFit does have the? Oh, it's too late for coffee on your end of the world. I got some right now, but you're gonna be all.
This is the only advice I got left.
So you got to keep it rolling.
What did I think about
When do you,
CrossFit? What was it about CrossFit?
why do you think the beef? Like, why the disrespect?
Why the disrespect?
Yeah,
It's like you said, because it's a superiority thing. It's like it's just like the video I made the other day where Savan was talking about the family of fitness products that FitLab has, and he's like, oh, well, that's CrossFit. That's CrossFit. And like I said, if you think they say if your only tool is a hammer, every problem looks like a nail.
right.
Right. So they think CrossFit is the answer to everything. And it's not.
There, I can see it's certainly derivative from CrossFit, right? And that's why it's weird to me that they think of it less than, because it's basically the same thing, only just like tilted away from the bias that they would want it to be, where it's strength or just whatever it is. Like, nah, stupid. But it's like, this is actually the same thing. It's actually the same thing. And that's what's weird to me when they start talking about like the movement standards. And it's always CrossFit people that are doing that, where they were like a laughing stock in terms of movement standards to the greater fitness community for forever. Like people still will comment about how crazy the movements are. And then they come at our community because we don't like have the exact same standards that they have. And it's just so bizarre to me. It's just, that's where they used to call CrossFit a cult. Then it is like, you guys are actually like, you are attracting people who are just like looking to just like hang on to something, and they will just like defend it to no end.
Well, and they used to have a cult, and they used to have a cult leader that some still worship, even though he doesn't own the company anymore.
Some people still on him.
Of course, it all went downhill once you left.
So they, yeah, yeah. I mean, it's just been around for so many years now that people will remember the old days.
Did you watch the 24.3 winning submissions?
I saw. I didn't watch them all the way through, but I saw
people are very upset. Very no
Rebecca Fuselier.
Very no repping. Very calling in Hiller's bats.
I know,
so
and I guess
they hate their own stuff as much as they hate anything else.
Yeah, they're it's a lot of crybaby stuff. It's a lot of crybaby stuff for sure. But that, we mean, we've had that for Spartan. We have that in Hybrid.
The Cody Crybabies. Do you know who they are?
Mm-mm.
The Cody Crybabies. It's a wrestling reference.
Sorry.
Anyway.
Got nothing.
Well, this was great. I'm glad you're able to hop on at short notice.
Yes.
It is Friday. What do you have this weekend?
I'm going to go see my friends Camilla Massa and Luca Lorenzoni.
Okay.
Tomorrow. Might get a little podcast action.
Okay.
Lorenzoni. They're the best. They're the best. Okay. They're the best available. Best that there is. And that's really it. And then just training, doing stuff. You?
Went for a run yesterday with my boy Clayton. And this weekend I'll probably get another run in, maybe a little DEKA workout in.
How's the weather?
Rainy right now, but it's getting warm. Thank
Hmm.
God it was warm for the Spartan, because that would have sucked. Dude, I hadn't run double digit mileage in so long, and I did 13 miles at a beast. My legs
No
really hurt.
shit. You did the
Really
full
hurt.
beast?
Yeah, I don't really run that fast, but so it takes a long time. But
Still do it.
my legs
Still,
really my legs really hurt.
I said, did it give you the itch?
To do more obstacle racing? No.
Longer stuff.
No.
You like the longer stuff? No?
I did. I think I'm no longer an ultra runner. I think I'm just a regular dude now.
No, you're a hybrid athlete.
I'm a hybrid athlete. I got to do another DEKA.
You should do the DEKA Ultra.
I'm not doing the DEKA Ultra.
Come on.
Why do you stop trying to push me to do the DEKA Ultra? I want to get Clayton and I were just talking
great.
about doing another DEKA mile or a DEKA strong.
I like it. They'll probably start really cooking now that the weather's going to get nicer. I know they're indoors, but it's better gym events that like they're limited space.
Dude,
so it's better
every
when they're
time I
outdoors.
look at DEKA's posts or OCR Buddy, there's like 20 DEKAs every weekend.
Yeah, yeah, which is nice. People are into it for sure. I don't have any DEKAs on the agenda at all.
I feel like you should drop into one.
I should probably drop into one. They're coming out. They're
Pick up
doing
more
a road
clients.
show.
Pick up more clients.
We're good. We're good
Okay.
out here.
All right.
We're cooking.
These guys are going to start something on the East Coast or in Europe without you. You might need
Please
to fall back on some. You show up at a DEKA event, okay? And it's like, oh wow, there's Rich. Rich Ryan is one of the best hybrid athletes there is. He's a former DEKA world champion, and he's with RMR. Like, it would be like, oh, it would be great for people to see you.
No, I think that's accurate. That's great.
Be in there.
I'm
one of the
there. What you
people.
talking about?
Don't be in your ivory tower.
I'm out here, dude. We just ran a relay together. I stayed around all day.
We did run a
hanging
relay
out.
together.
I was at the booth. I was doing podcasts. I was out there powerlift. I'm on backdrops, standing in front of them.
All right, how many weeks? What's the countdown?
11, 10.
All right, get going. I'm sure we'll talk.
Time.
I'm sure we'll talk 20 more times. Thanks for coming on, buddy.
We will. Sounds good.
Bye.
Later.